What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good, guys? What's good, man? What's happening? What's happening, man? What's good with y'all this morning? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. What's going on? I think, to be honest with y'all, I think this whole entire uh, Jeffrey Epstein files and situation and all this and that should just be put to rest. I think folks should just stop talking about it. I think people should just leave it alone. Yeah, you agree too. Yeah, I think people should just stop talking about the Epstein files because really honest and to be technical about the situation, man, nobody's really worried about that, man. A lot of people getting away with a lot of stuff. You know, and the sick thing about it with me, man, is when I think about this whole entire thing with Jeffrey Epstein, man, when I think about it, I think about a sick, perverted, MF, bastard child that done some horrible things to kids and was able to get away with it for so many years. Not that the system couldn't detect what he was doing. It's because you had a lot of other sick people like him that's still here today that knew what was going on. Instead of reporting it, they took the initiative to partake and participate in this stuff. And I know personally myself, bro, I've been doing a whole lot of talking about this Jeffrey Epstein thing. You know, people that's been mentioned, names been called, people's involved, people names that wasn't called, that people still feel like was involved. I mean, this whole entire situation is just all over the place. You don't know where to start at. You don't know where to begin. You actually don't know who to you know what to point fingers at. Part myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why have a discussion or speak on or about something that's going to be more so like a never ending type of situation? Like, Jeffrey Epstein is dead. The damage done been done. Those kids done been victimized. There's some harsh things that's been done to those kids, man. And for me, the sad part about it for me is that you have a lot of people that was involved in all of this stuff that haven't even been mentioned, bro. Like, so why sit here and continue for me to go back and forward about something that you know justice ain't gonna be served? Like, people like Jay-Z and all these names that have been called, there is no consequence. There is nothing finna happen to any of these guys. Like, nothing, literally. Like, the victims, the ones that still living, the ones that was victimized, they not gonna receive justice, bro. Because you gotta think about it. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why this whole Epstein thing starts resurfacing is because of Donald Trump. Because you have people, American people, that's displeased and dissatisfied with a lot of things that Donald Trump has been doing since he's been in office. And for me, I feel like Donald Trump has been doing some great things. But I'm just saying, that's just my personal opinion, right? And I want to make understanding understood early this morning. I'm gonna stop shoving so much stuff, man, because at the end of the day, you know, folks are entitled to support who they want to support, represent what they want to represent, stand for whatever they want to stand for. So for me to sit here and get agitated with folks because they got things to say about Donald Trump or deleting people's comments, I'm gonna stop doing all of that, because everybody's entitled, bro. This platform, it's my platform, but I come on here for a reason. I can't get mad because a person don't agree with me. I can't get mad because the person want to disagree or a person want to display their satisfaction. Now, for us the disrespect part, y'all can kind of like alleviate that. But for the most part, I'm gonna ask my moderators not to don't block people. Let them say what they want to say, long as it's not disrespecting or affecting me or you. Let them have the flow. Because yesterday I took the time out yesterday to sit back and think, and I said, Messenger, man, you got to go back to the drawing boards, man. You gotta be fair. You got to be fair with the people. Just because you're a Donald Trump supporter and whatever, it does not necessarily mean that everybody have to gravitate to whatever you talk about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning, I'm growing every day. And that's why I decided to make this the last day that I speak about this Jeffrey Epstein stuff, bro. It's just, it's for me, there could be potentially a lot of names. And I want y'all to know, it's just not Democrats, bro. Like, literally, you got Republicans that's involved in that crap too, bro. You got a lot of Republicans that participated in a lot of that stuff on Jeffrey Epstein Island. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it seem like I'm just, just trying to point out one specific or type of people or whatever. I can't do that, bro. I gotta be right. I can't just be biased. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be equal. But what I will say is this here. For everybody, whether you Democrat, whether you Republican, or whether you independent, with both sides, if they was involved in that crap out there on that island, man, and physically abusing those kids the way those files are saying those kids was physically abused, then I think justice need to be implemented and served at the highest degree possible. And it doesn't matter about your fame or your status. A lot of people are relying on their fame and their status to kind of like justify or to exempt them, from conviction and sentencing. And that shouldn't be the case. They shouldn't be treated no different than a regular person. Just because you got money, just because you popular or this popularity status, the umbrella that you fought, that means nothing. We got to think about these kids and these victims, bro. And I've been sitting here thinking, man, yesterday I thought, man, I said, bro, we can only imagine, because none of us was there, but we can only imagine what those kids really went through, bro. Those kids really went through some stuff out there for years and years. And I want to commend, even though Bill Clinton is a sick bastard, right? I want to commend him and Hillary for taking the initiative to stop running and literally manning and warming up and saying, you know what? We will take the stand. We will testify. We will, provide whatever information that the government may be seeking in regards to the Epstein files or anything that took place out on the island. I commend them for that. But I also would love to see Bill Clinton out of anybody and out of everybody. I would love to see justice served on Bill Clinton to the highest degree possible. Because even before this Epstein crap, we know Bill Clinton has a history. Bill Clinton disrespected the most prestige position, building, place in the whole entire world. And that's the White House. When he done all that stuff with Monica Lewinsky, when he's introducing marijuana inside and all of this, Bill Clinton, he's been due for justice. And I just think this is the perfect time and the perfect opportunity for the system to implement whatever they're going to do to Bill Clinton at the highest degree. A lot of people say they don't think Hillary participated, but they saying that they believe Hillary had knowledge or have knowledge of the things that was going on. And I strongly believe at the end of the day, right is right, wrong is wrong. You conspired. She conspiracy conspired with Bill Clinton. So at the end of the day, Maxwell said Clinton is innocent. Well, if that's what I'm gonna say it like this: if that's what Maxwell said, then it is what it is. That it is. If that's what Maxwell said, then it is what it is. I'm just saying, for me, and I respect your opinion. I'm not mad at you because you said that. I'm not trying to block nobody for voicing their opinion. I'm not doing it. I'm done with all that crap. Because I want everybody to have the opportunity to speak their piece on my platform. Whether you are on my side or against me, whether you Republican, whether you Democrat, whether you like Donald Trump or you hate Donald Trump. I'm giving everybody the floor and the opportunity because I want to be equal, bro. Because I realize, I have a lot of Democrats that even though a lot of y'all guys may disagree with me and don't like me or whatever, but I notice I have more Democrats than Republicans on my live streams. I noticed that. So I want to be equal, bro. You know what I'm saying? But back to this thing, right? Here's what I want to do, right? Here's what I want to do. I want to say put this whole entire Jeffrey Epstein thing to rest. This is what I want to do. Because, listen, guys, it died down at one point. We had a whole nother wave of files to come out. We have a whole new bunch of people or names that's been mentioned and implemented. And if you sit back and pay attention, to me, it appears that the government is not moving. It's like they are not in a rush to charge and convict people that's guilty of the crimes that was committed on the island. So why sit here and talk about something or stress something that those who are in charge that can actually do something about it not showing any concern? Just leave it alone. I know a lot of y'all guys like that, so y'all feel as though that Donald Trump had things to do with this stuff. Me personally, myself, I don't think so. But just because I don't think so, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to follow and feel the same way I feel. If you feel that Trump had something to do with it, all I can say, the government, they got the opportunity to prove it. Right is right, wrong is wrong, bro. I respect my president. I support my president, and that ain't gonna change. But always keep in the back of your mind, when it comes to kids, I don't care who you are, what you stand for, what you represent. When it comes to them kids, I don't tolerate that. You know what I'm saying? So just remember, I know it's not just Democrats involved in this. You got probably more Republicans than Democrats involved in this Jeffrey Epstein thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and just try to make it seem like it's all Democrats and non-Republic. I'm not going to do that, bro. I'm just not going to do that. But it's sick. It hurts me to my heart. Listen at me, man. It hurts me to my heart, and it makes me want to become emotional about this whole entire situation because I'm sitting back and some of these victims had the opportunity to speak out. Some of these individuals had the opportunity to speak out, bro, about this whole entire situation. You feel me? And my thing is, you don't place yourself in that situation, but what if you had a loved one that was victimized like that? How would y'all guys feel? It's one of those situations. Like, I'm puzzled because I'm like, there is no way possible that names are still being mentioned in regards to this. And I don't see nobody being charged. Puff Daddy have been convicted and sentenced to federal prison for whatever that he's supposed to have done. They got Puffy out the way real fast. What I'm saying is, we don't want the system, to exempt anybody else from doing wrongdoings. Not just Puffy, not just R. Kelly, because the system rushed to convict and sentence R. Kelly and Sean P. Diddy Combs. And at the end of the day, both of them was wrong. But at the same time, what about those that participated in the activities with Puff Daddy? What about the ones that participated in the activity with R. Kelly? Like the parents. The parents had knowledge that R. Kelly was doing whatever he was doing with their kids. They was selling them. They was prospering financially. Even though I disagree with R. Kelly because he knew better. But I know the parents should have been locked up with him as well. Same thing with Diddy, Cassidy. Cassidy, she knew what was going on. She was down with the whole system. But then when Puffy did whatever he did, and kicked her to the curb. Now she wants to bring this stuff up. Now it's all about the money part. All I'm saying is the government did not waste no time with charging Puffy, R. Kelly, and convicted them and sending them to federal prison. They wasted no time doing it. Treat the Epstein thing the same way, bro. Let's treat the Epstein, those names that's been mentioned in the Epstein files, I get it. We just can't jump to the conclusion just because the person name was mentioned and say, hey, he did this. Oh, hey, she did. We get that. But there is a certain thing called investigation. The same exact thing that y'all did with Puffy and R. Kelly. Y'all investigated them. Y'all went straight at, y'all dived right into the investigation, got all evidence you needed or whatever. Y'all charged, convicted them, and slid them on through. And I think this is the same thing with this Epstein file. Let's stop dragging it. Let's stop dragging it. And I'm calling out all other YouTubers, bro. All other YouTubers, I'm calling y'all out. Stop talking about the Epstein files, bro. Because we not getting anywhere. We doing a whole lot of talking. People want to see action, man. People want to see results. Because of these kids, because we knew it happened. We know it happened. For me, myself, for everybody that inflicted some type of harm on those kids, whether you Republican, Democrat, or Independent, your ass need to be sent up shit creek. I'm going to say it like that. I'm going to be blunt with it. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. In a lot of cases, it could be a black thing. It could, because we know racism still exists. We know racism still exists. You see what I'm saying? I know, you know, but we can't focus on racism, bro. We as black people, we got to be able to get past and beyond that. See, a lot of y'all think I sit here and talk down on my culture and on my race. Man, I'm black, bro. I love my people. I love my culture. I love my race. It's just I'm dissatisfied. And I dislike a lot of things that we do that we inflict amongst each other and try to find ways by using the white people as a scapegoat to justify that. That's the kind of stuff I be talking about. But a lot of people take what I say the wrong way and run with it. I know you got a lot of people, white people's in position that don't want to see a black man with shit in life. You don't think I know that? I know this for a fact. You have a lot of white folks that don't want to see a black man with nothing. But guess what? If we giving them the ammunition that they want and need, then at the end of the day, who's to blame? We got to blame ourselves. We don't do enough for each other, bro. We don't stick together. You know what I'm saying? We talk a good fight. We talk a good game, but we ain't put none of it into activation, bro. We don't love each other like we say we do. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this right here. I can't come on live and be biased, bro. I can't come on here and talk down on white folks just because I'm a black person or because of what our ancestors been through for us, you know, slavery, so on and so forth. I can't do that because that's something that I don't stand for. I don't represent. You know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King used to always say, you know what I'm saying, turn the cheek, bro. Sometimes you got to be the bigger man, even though you see things and you know things. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to make racism a focal point on my platform because my platform does not consist of racism. I love everything that God created. I love white people, even though I know I have a lot of people that hate my guts because I'm a black man. But just because they hate me, that doesn't necessarily mean I got to hate them back, and I don't. They hate me, but I love and embrace them. That's how you overcome, and that's how you win. That's how you succeed in these battles and these wars. You don't give a person what they want. Whatever they anticipate, you do the opposite. It's no different from what we talking about with this Jeffrey Epstein thing. You didn't just have white peoples out there victimizing these kids. You had a lot of black people that participated in that, bro. I'm talking about high-profile people, bro. Blacks that participated in this activity with these kids out here. You feel me? So at the end of the day, when I speak from this magnitude or from this perspective, bro, it's just me, you know, striving to educate people, bro. Like bringing a lot of y'all are still trapped in the triple stages of darkness, deaf, dumb, and blind to the fact of what's revolving around you, bro. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to super succeed that shit. We got to be able to get past that. I'm talking about think beyond all of that. You right, overdue. We are over. A lot of us, both sides are overdue. But I don't want to come on here and get off subject, bro. I don't want to jump subject. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes when you read in the chat, you know, you got to respond to certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand the topic. We talking about the Epstein files. Something that, like I said, today is going to be the last day that me personally, myself, collaborate, elaborate, talk about it, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because sorry about that, guys. We're not getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere, right? We're not getting anywhere. I'm gonna say something, man, that's probably gonna bring me to an emotional type of setting right now, right? Because, and I don't know how y'all feel about that out there, right? I know a lot of y'all, you know, a lot of y'all don't care about what happened to a lot of these victims on the Epstein Island. You know what I'm saying? Y'all probably saying, well, they was kids then, now they all grown up. Or I didn't know this person, I didn't know that person. And I get that part. I don't know any of them from a can of paint. But bro, for me to sit back and just think about what these kids had to endure, what they had to experience by the hands of these adults or adults, or however you want to say it, it's sick, bro. It's just a sick type of situation. And do me personally, myself, do I feel as though everybody's name that was mentioned in the Epstein files, do I think all of them should be held accountable? No. Because just because a person's name was mentioned doesn't necessarily mean that they played any role or had any type of involvement in any of the sexual acts that took place or transpired at that time on the Epstein Islands. Maxwell Glebs is saying that Bill Clinton is innocent. She was there. Jeffrey Epstein lawyer, ex-lawyer, said Donald Trump is innocent. Said Donald Trump had nothing to do with nothing. You know, there's a lot of names that, from my understanding, have been cleared through Maxwell. Glebs is saying, hey, this person is good, that person is good, this is what, but my thing is this here. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison, right? 20 years in prison. For whatever reasons, I don't think she received enough time, right? Because from my understanding, she was the one traveling, snatching these kids up from different parts of the world and bringing them, escorting them to the jet, trafficking them back to Epstein's Island. So for me, the reason why I'm saying this, I want to make it make sense. I want y'all to understand the reason why I said what I said. It's because I believe that she done initiated some type of deal with the government. Because think about it. You got names that's being mentioned right now that none of us never would have expected. Jay-Z, Pusha T, Harvey Weinstein, Beyonce name that came up, Aaliyah, may her soul rest in peace. We talking about some big time names, bro. We not talking about your average Joe Blow. Oprah Winfrey, Eddie Murphy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the guy that played in Forrest Gump, what's his name? What's the guy name that played in Forrest Gump? Not the dude that played Bubba, the white guy, Tom Hanks. That's right, appreciate that. Names like that we would have never suspected to have been mentioned in Epstein files, bro. Not me personally, myself. Out of all people, Jay-Z, I would have never thought, and Beyonce. But here's the thing about it, though. A lot of y'all, or a lot of people say they don't believe in karma, right? A lot of people saying that they don't believe what goes around come around, or what goes on in the dark at some point must come to the light. A lot of folks don't believe in that, but I do. And I truly, strongly believe, guys, this is the second time Jay-Z, Sean Carter, they've been involved in something sexually related with the Puff Daddy situation. The young girl say him and Puffy raped her back in the early 90s when she was, what, 12, 13 years old. They slapped lawsuits on Jay-Z. For whatever reason, he was cleared from that. The lawsuits was dropped for whatever reason, and he was clear. Me personally, myself, I strongly believe that the girl was paid some money under the table. Hey, here you go, shut your mouth, bam, it's over with. Now, you got another situation, the Epstein file Jay-Z to be mentioned in. Guys, it's hard to believe that a person's name will constantly, continuously come up in something sexually related if they had not anything to do with it. Now, with Jay-Z, it's different from me. I'm not going to say here and convict this brother. I'm not going to do that. Bad as I want to say it, I'm not going to do it. Because I know for a fact, right, that at some point, everybody that participated, something to come up. I promise you, something to come up and come out. But I don't want to sit here and continue to talk. It's a million more things to talk about. It's a million more things that I could share with y'all guys out there. And that's what we're going to do, man. We're going to get back to doing what we're doing best, man. You know, I'm not saying my YouTube platform the best on YouTube, but I know I have a good, great platform. You know what I'm saying? That consists of a bunch of people. It's diverse. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get back to being the messenger. I want to get back to being self-conscious, bro. That's what I want to do. So what I would like to do is that, you know, everybody's entitled to say what they want to say, bro. I'm going to stop blocking people. You know, if you want to come on here and say, hey, I disagree with what you saying, my brother, or this or that about, do you. Long as you're not disrespecting me, because disrespect is something that I'm not going to tolerate. Because when you disrespect me, you disrespecting my chat. You know what I'm saying? It don't just affect me, it affect the peoples that support me. You know what I mean? But outside the scope of that, man, let's get back to doing what we doing best, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it's no need to continuously to talk about this Epstein thing, bro, because nothing is going to happen. Right? The reason why it take them so long to release another set of Epstein files is because they taking out certain names that they don't want the public to see. That's it. That's why they battling and playing around with these files, bro. Why not just release everything at one time? Why not just release all these files at one time and just and to be done with it? Makes sense, right? But they're not gonna do that. It's not, you know what? I'm going to tell you something, right? I'm going to tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something, man. I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to drop a bomb on y'all, right? One thing's for sure and two things for certain. I ain't going to never hold you too long, right? I ain't going to hold you. Catastrophic, right? I'm sitting here saying to myself, right? I'm like R. Kelly, convicted, 30 years. Bam, out the way. Diddy, convicted, beat the most serious charges, got found guilty on a lesser included offense, gave him a couple of years, slid in through the cracks. And I'm saying to myself, it was done quickly. Like, they didn't waste no time. Hit him in the head with the headshot. It was over with. They punished him, right? And I'm saying, all these names that have been mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein file, I have yet to see one person charged and convicted. And this back date almost a year, bro, if not a full year. When this first started surfacing, nobody's been charged and convicted. Why should I be on here keep talking about it? Just because a person's name was mentioned, like I said, don't mean that they're guilty. Everybody said Trump had something to do with it. Trump's name was never mentioned. You actually have people saying Trump was not around. We talking about former lawyers. We talking about people that actually participated. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, this is what I'm gonna say to y'all out there, right? I'm gonna share something with y'all out there. I'm gonna share something with y'all, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna share something with y'all, and I'm gonna leave it alone, right? Here's what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna leave this alone. Here's what I think, and I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but I'm gonna leave it alone, right? If you agree, you agree. Okay. Now, see, here's the thing about it. Like I said, I don't have a problem with anyone, stating their opinion. The disrespect part, could y'all please leave that out? Leave it out. Leave it out. Leave it alone. Stop. Just leave it alone. We not doing those type of live streams no more. And if my moderators are not in here catching stuff like that and kicking you out, then I'm gonna have to get rid of them. So that's what I'm gonna have to do. That's what I'm gonna have to do. That's what I'm gonna have to do. Like I done already told y'all. What's going down and how it's going down. So if you can't do what you're supposed to do, I gotta do what I gotta do. I got to do what I got to do. That's just the bottom line. Not trying to be rude or nothing like that. Yep, I'm not trying to be rude or nothing like that. But I just want to state facts. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do, guys. That's all I want to do. So, Hater X has his own channel. It's just some people just say a lot of crazy stuff, man. But like I said, guys, what we're gonna have to do, I want to leave this whole Epstein thing. I want to just put it to rest, bro. I really do. I really see the blacks will get their punishment. What blacks do you know who have a puppy in jail like Maxwell? That's a good question. If Gillespie Maxwell got a puppy in jail, that's the thing that really ticks me off, bro. You have these celebrities, man, that do all this bad stuff, bro, and they in jail they treat them, like they ain't even locked up for doing anything. You know what I'm saying? And if that woman got an animal in her cell, something needs to be done about that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Another happened when it's emotional, logic. Another PD file, defendant PD file, no respect. That's right. I don't have no respect for no child abuser, bro. Like, absolutely not. Like I said, it could have been Donald Trump. If Donald Trump would have been mentioned, I would have felt, would I? When it comes to kids, man, ain't nobody exempt, bro. Not when it comes to them kids. I'm not going to say here and defend nobody when it comes to them children, bro. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I delete whatever I delete. And I'm going to take those out that, my thing is this, man. This is my thing about this whole entire situation, right? When I think about Jeffrey Epstein, when I went through the little files that I had and I was reading up on stuff, bro, a lot of that stuff for me, was just made up. A lot of that stuff didn't happen like that to that extent. It couldn't have. There is no way possible. If a lot of that stuff took place the way they said it did, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. A lot of these people, names that was mentioned, they would have been convicted and sent to federal prison and then started serving these lengthy sentences and everything. You know, I just feel like we'll never get down to the bottom of it. That's just like we'll never know who killed Biggie and Tupac. We speculating, and people think that we know who killed Biggie and Tupac, but we don't. Gene Deal stay on whatever that podcast he be on. Gene Deal saying, hey, such and such killed Puffy had this. We don't know who killed Puffy Biggie and Tupac. We really don't. Honestly, we just going off what people are saying and whatever the media putting out there. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I just wanted to literally come on here, man, and inform y'all guys that, you know, starting today, you know, everybody's entitled to say what they want to say for us, you know, in regards to what I talk about. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me, bro. I respect that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel as though, you know, it don't matter whether you are a Republican or not. You know, Democrats should have the opportunity to express how they feel about things as well. And I'm just, you know, want to put that out there to make that understanding understood. You know what I mean? Let's see, because the public doesn't push hard enough for policy. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. Public don't push hard enough for that. Yeah. Gillian Maxwell said she would clear Trump if he gave her a pardon. Did you not hear that part? That's not true, bro. That's not true. That's propaganda. That's falsification. Gillian Maxwell, that was never said, bro. Let's just be honest. We gonna keep it 100 now. You know, we gonna keep it 100. We ain't gonna come on here and fabricate, sugarcoat, or none of that. That's not true. Donald Trump is innocent, man. I know a lot of y'all hate to hear that, but Donald Trump had nothing to do with that. He did not participate or partake in any of that activity, bro. He had nothing to do with that. That's just something that was made up by Democrats and other Republicans. Because believe it or not, you have a lot of Republicans that hate Donald Trump, that don't like Trump. Not just the Democrats. Yeah, we have some of our own kind that don't like Trump, that disagree with a lot of things that Donald Trump say or do, from my understanding. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, I'm gonna say something else. I'm gonna add something else onto that too, right? I also believe that, and this just me, you know what I'm saying? This just me. You don't have to agree with what I'm finna say. But I also believe that when people, listen at this part right here, when people notify you of such in regards to whatever it may be, she did say she would talk of Trump pardoning her. Listen, man, don't y'all, you know what? I'm going to say something about that, right? Don't you know if that woman had some on Donald Trump, you don't think Donald Trump would have been pardoning her to keep her mouth closed, man? Come on, let's deal with logic. Let's deal with logic. Yes, the floor is open. People can voice their opinions or how they feel or whatnot. But at the end of the day, man, don't just come on here and make up stuff or say stuff to sound good. Man, Connie, I did not say nothing about that, man. See, that y'all don't pay attention. Y'all don't pay attention, bro. When I told you when it comes to a kid, I don't care who you are. You not exempt by no means necessary. When a kid is involved, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, you independent. At the end of the day, if you inflict harm on a kid, justice need to be served to the highest degree possible. That's just how I feel. That's my personal opinion. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm not changing that by no means necessary for nobody. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna get ready to end this live stream. I appreciate the participation as usual. It's always an honor and a privilege to have people to come on here and kind of like support you. And like I said, bro, I don't know it all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't claim to know it all. You know what I mean? But, you know, sometimes you got to move on from certain things, move on with certain things in life. And I just feel as though the Epstein files are being talked about on a daily basis throughout the world, but I don't really see nobody really showing any type of concern. How you doing, Ms. Brown? I don't really see nobody showing no type of concerns or whatnot. So I'm gonna get on ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and slide on through the cracks. Like I said, I appreciate y'all guys for tapping in. That's right. Them kids can't move on. You're right, because they was damaged. And I agree with you on that. But y'all have a blessed day out there. And you know, always remember, man, God first, family second,